In this lecture, we're going to be looking at UV mapping using the Project from View tools. This is a form of UV mapping that takes what is viewed in the 3D viewport and unwraps it as it appears to the user. So basically, it takes what you're looking at in the 3D viewport and it basically maps it in the exact same way as you're viewing it on the 2D UV map. So let's have a look at this in Blender. So we're going to go into our UV editing tool and we're going to go into edit mode, U for unwrap, and we're going to select Project from View Bounds. Now I'm going to come out of that for a sec. Have a look at what direction I'm facing my cube in. So we've got the corners coming out. Watch what happens when I select Project from View. So basically, it looks pretty much exactly the same. All the vertices seem to be in the right places. It seems to have completely UV mapped as a cube. Now this can be useful if you're trying to select flat faces, but in order to do that you should really be in a two-dimensional view in your 3D viewport. This is where Project from View really comes in. So before I do that, I'm just going to show you a couple more different angles. So U, Project from View, and we can see there. And one more time from this angle, and there we go. Before we move on, we also have Project from View Bounds. This is basically the same thing. However, the key difference here is that Project from View Bounds will actually attempt to fill up your entire UV map. So left click, Project from View Bounds, and it attempts to fill up the entire UV map. This is perhaps more ideal if you go into a 2D view in your 3D viewport. So for example, if I press 1 to enter a front perspective and press U, Project from View, and we can see that's a little bit better now. So we've got it in basically 2 dimensions. Let's see what happens if we limit this to visible and try again. U, Project from View. So it still seems to have done the same. So it will literally take what it sees and it will map it onto your UV map. Now a tip here for projecting from view is that normally this is a result of you wanting to select and unwrap particular faces, not necessarily the whole mesh. So in this example, I'm just going to select one face and then I'm going to hit 1 to make sure it's flat, U, unwrap, and there we go. So we've unwrapped a single face, but it's perfectly unwrapped. Let's do another example. So let's go into edit mode and let's press the W key and subdivide this face, and we can see that it also does this in real time on our UV map because our face has already been edited and has already been unwrapped. So we can move around, but it has no effect on our UV map. That's excellent. So there we go, guys. That is projecting from view. The best times to use project from view or project from view bounds will be when you want to just select a single part of the object for a more uniform level of UV mapping. So if you don't want any stretching on that particular face, you can select that face, make sure that your viewport is in 2 dimensions, not 3, and then you can project from view and it will project it as it is. So there won't be any stretching, there won't be any abnormal vertices, abnormal angles, etc. So there we go. There is how we can project from view in UV mapping.